that they were sleeping in cars, kids that were telling me that they were sleeping at the park, kids that were telling me that they had no food to eat. So as a teacher, to me, I found it completely heartbreaking.
Hi and welcome back to another video in my video collection titled Social Work Sound Off. Today I'm so happy to collaborate with Erika. You must find her on Instagram. Like yesterday, you're sharing so many great resources, intervention ideas, the ins and outs of social work. So without further ado, let's get into my interview.
Hi, my name is Erika and I am a school social worker in Miami, Florida. I graduated from 2015 from Florida International University with my master's degree in clinical social work. Prior to that, I was a teacher in elementary education. I began teaching, and it wasn't until my third or fourth year into my teaching career that I started working for a public school that was across the street from a homeless shelter. So I had in my classroom kids that were constantly telling me that they were sleeping in cars, kids that were telling me that they were sleeping at the park, kids that were telling me that they had no food to eat. So as a teacher, I found it completely heartbreaking to be wanting to push these kids academically. Instead, I felt compelled to talk about the different challenges that they were facing at that point in their lives. My current position is actually under the title of mental health specialist, and it is a position that is grant funded within the public schools district. I am able to pull out the kids for interventions for individual and group sessions. I am assigned to 2 schools, I have a middle school and a high school. The intervention that I use the most is definitely psychoeducation, and that is because there is always a need to provide psychoeducation and clarity on different topics to either the parent, to the students, and sometimes even to the staff. As part of my self-care plan, I actually, before I get up every morning, I read a devotional. And that is something that I do in order for me to continue to feel motivated and encouraged. It's something that I continue to do to feed my soul, to feed my spirit. Number 2, spending time with the family. So my husband works very long hours during the week, and I have a 4-year-old and a 10-month-old. So our weekends, we tend to just get away and just spend the entire weekend just with family. And number 3, Netflix. So we watch a lot of documentaries together on Netflix. Right now, what's on our list to watch is Babies Behind Bars, Women Behind Bars, and there was a new show that came out recently on my suggested list on Netflix, and it's called 7 Seconds. I haven't checked it out yet, but it's something that I look forward to do. So the most challenging population that I have ever worked with as a social worker definitely has to be when I worked at the Center for Domestic Violence. And the reason being is due to the fact that these were women who a lot of the times were undocumented, did not have any education, did not have any jobs, did not have any place to go, and were abused and neglected by their spouses for many, many years, and they were reaching out for help. However, because of the fact that they didn't have anywhere to go to and they were afraid, a lot of the times they would come into the office and they would say that they wanted to leave their spouses, and we would create an entire safety plan. But once they would leave the office, it was as if something came over them, and they would say, never mind, I cannot do this. So a lot of the times these clients were going back to their spouses and staying with them and coming to therapy for many years at a time, and they would go back and forth with their decisions, which is completely normal. It's something that at one point, you have to realize and you have to understand the frustration that you get as a social worker, not enough, and that it's a decision that has to come whenever they are ready. There have been a couple different books that I have started to read. Live, Love, Lead by Brian Houston, who's a senior pastor from Hillsong Church. I have not been able to finish it. That is because of the fact that I am also a mom, and I am a wife and a social worker, and really just focusing on the reading for my licensure has taken a lot of the time lately. I usually tend to listen to a lot of the messages by Stephen Furtick and also by Chad Veach. So these are pastors, and they have a lot of motivational and encouragement. This thing that has happened to me as a social worker was definitely when I was working as a counselor at a center for domestic violence, and I was 38 weeks pregnant, and several times I used to get those Braxton Hicks contractions in the middle of a session, so I used to have to get up and position myself in different ways so that the contractions would go away. Thankfully, these were women that I had already been working with for a long time and I had a good relationship with, and they completely understood and gave me a few minutes to calm down in the middle of a session. Once the contraction would go away, we will get back into the topic. So professionally, definitely, like I had mentioned before, I am preparing for licensure exams here in the state of Florida. And as far as personally, well, like I had mentioned also earlier, so we have 2 girls as part of my personal plan, going for the boy maybe by sometime next year or the year after that. If I were a social worker, what would I be? So I was a teacher before, and then I became a social worker. And I can honestly say that I feel that this is my true calling. This is where my passion is. I cannot think of another career or another job that I would rather have other than the one that I currently have. I am completely and 100% fulfilled with this profession. So we have reached the lightning round questions. I'm gonna go ahead and try to answer these questions as fast as I can. Neither one, because I have no patience. I cannot wait. Basement, city or countryside? Countryside. Amusement park. Classroom. Mountain peak or water's edge? Water's edge. Definitely bakery. I do a little bit of both. Not necessarily that doesn't mean that I'm good at either one. But I like both. I enjoy singing and dancing. I definitely enjoy watching the sunset better. The sunrise, I'm too tired. I cannot get out. Thank you for watching.
Erika is so sweet and adorable. The social work community, again on Instagram, is just awesome. If you want to be a part of that community, if you want to be part of this series, Social Work Sound Off, then please message me, send me a comment. I will link up with you and send you my questions. You get to pick which ones you're most interested in answering. This is my way of showing the world what social work is all about and what we are made of. So please share and like this video.